Sure, it will come as no surprise to anybody in this room that I am hugely passionate about the Invictus Games. I am passionate about the role which sport can play in the recovery of body.
It was supposed to be Prince Harry's legacy, a noble cause born from personal experience and empathy for wounded soldiers that would unite nations and honor sacrifice. The Invictus Games began as a symbol of resilience, recovery, and hope. But now, that symbol is under siege. And at the very center of this storm, Prince Harry himself. Allegations of financial misconduct, legal investigations, and whispers of donor betrayal have ignited a firestorm of controversy that could destroy the last shreds of credibility Prince Harry holds in the public eye. The very initiative that once painted him as a hero now threatens to expose him as something far more divisive, a royal turned rogue entangled in scandal. The Invictus Games, held most recently in Dusseldorf in 2023, wrapped with applause and emotional speeches. But behind the scenes, powerful figures were growing increasingly uneasy. Lindsay, chair of the Invictus Games Foundation, was one of them. A respected name in the veterans community, Lindsay had long remained silent, until now, according to internal reports and multiple sources cited by credible outlets like The Blast and Airly News. Lindsay has retained a top UK legal firm to launch a forensic audit into the game's finances. This isn't speculation. It's a deliberate, calculated move, one backed by mounting evidence and growing frustration. Why the sudden legal maneuvering? Leaked financial breakdowns revealed that nearly a quarter of the $40 million budget for the Dusseldorf Games was allegedly spent on luxury accommodations, private jets, and elaborate security for VIPs, with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle at the top of that list. Meanwhile, less than 3% of the budget reportedly went to athlete support, sports equipment, or rehabilitation services, the very purpose of the event. The scandal exploded when German officials, who had invested close to $30 million in public funds into the games, began demanding answers. Regional authorities from North Rhine-Westphalia and members of the Ministry of Defense raised urgent concerns over how taxpayer money was used and whether public trust had been violated. It didn't stop there. Netflix's role in the games raised even more eyebrows. Multiple veterans and insiders reported an overwhelming presence of production crews, not documenting the athletes, but shadowing the Sussexes. According to several journalists on site, some veterans were asked to sign waivers, granting Netflix rights to use their emotional testimonies, not for charity, but for Harry and Meghan's upcoming content deals. What once was a charity event now looked like a commercial backdrop. One anonymous staffer put it bluntly, "You couldn't tell where the charity ended and the Netflix production began." Meghan Markle was reportedly involved in planning meetings, providing stylistic input on stage design, and even attempting to rename a segment of the event as the Archewell Experience. That attempt, thankfully, was vetoed, but not before revealing the level of personal branding infiltrating what should have been a mission-driven event. The outrage didn't end with Netflix. Two of the foundation's top executives, CEO Peter Lawless and Chief Commercial Officer Bill Cooper, were allegedly fired after raising red flags about spending. Lawless, a decorated Paralympian and former Canadian government advisor, had spent years legitimizing the games. His removal, a signal that dissent would not be tolerated. According to reports, both Lawless and Cooper resisted budget approvals for Sussex-led promotions. Their objections were met not with compromise, but with termination. To many observers, this looked less like management and more like a purge. Even veterans began to speak out. One British participant, who competed in both the 2018 and 2023 games, said, "It felt like we were extras in a Netflix series. We were supposed to be the focus, but everything revolved around Harry, Meghan, and their camera crews. And it wasn't just murmurs anymore. The Guardian, The Telegraph, and European Times all reported mounting frustrations from donors, athletes, and staff. The integrity of the entire operation is now in question. As one insider noted, this was supposed to be about healing. Instead, it became a stage. Back in the UK, Buckingham Palace acted quickly. While Prince Harry is still the founder of the Invictus Games, the palace publicly distanced itself from the foundation's current activities. Senior sources told the Daily Mail that the event no longer reflects the values of royal patronage, and that there is no financial or institutional connection to Harry's ongoing projects. King Charles reportedly instructed aides to sever all ties with Sussex-related charities last year, especially those linked to large financial ventures. Prince William, deeply connected to veteran causes through the Royal Foundation, was said to be deeply disturbed by the unfolding scandal. The silence from Meghan and Harry has been deafening. As the headlines multiply, the couple has yet to issue a direct denial or explanation. Their Archewell Foundation remains tight-lipped, but behind the scenes, things may be unraveling fast, and this is where the legal stakes rise even higher. According to Politico Europe and The Times, Lindsay's legal team isn't just looking at surface-level spending. They're digging into everything: hospitality invoices, contractor agreements, and promotional contracts with direct links to Montecito and Archewell Productions. Legal experts warn that if any part of the $30 million in public funds or millions more in private donations were funneled into personal gain or even misreported, the consequences could be dire. Civil lawsuits are only the beginning. Under European charity laws, such violations can lead to criminal charges, international asset freezes, and nonprofit status revocation. U.S. legal scholars have echoed these warnings. If Archewell is found to have misled American donors or commingled charitable and commercial funds, its 501c3 nonprofit designation could be revoked. That would be catastrophic, not only for the Sussex brand, but for their ability to fundraise or partner with other foundations. Let's pause and reflect for a moment. Prince Harry, once celebrated as a compassionate reformer, is now being scrutinized like a CEO under SEC investigation. This isn't just about headlines or tabloid fodder. It's about accountability, ethics, and the integrity of a cause that millions believed in. What makes this scandal so uniquely devastating is the nature of the cause at stake. We're not talking about a celebrity brand deal or a PR mishap. We're talking about wounded warriors, veterans who've lost limbs, battled PTSD, and stood as living symbols of courage. To exploit their stories, even indirectly, is more than just unethical. It's unforgivable. Some veterans are now breaking their silence. Many express a growing sense of betrayal, that their recovery journeys, once honored on the world stage, have been overshadowed by glitz, glamour, and a camera-ready royal couple. A volunteer at the 2023 Dusseldorf Games said, "It was meant to be about service and sacrifice." But it felt more like a premiere for Meghan's next media deal. And this wasn't an isolated opinion. Athletes, organizers, and donors alike noticed the shift. Events felt choreographed, red carpets were rolled out, lighting was meticulously positioned, and speeches were delivered not just for the crowd, but for the cameras. Critics point out that the Sussexes have long blurred the lines between philanthropy and profit. From their Netflix documentaries to podcast deals, their projects often come wrapped in the language of compassion, but unfold with the polish of a business venture. And now, with serious legal eyes watching, those blurred lines may finally come into focus. In a courtroom, behind the scenes, more revelations are emerging. Sources familiar with the investigation say that donor records, travel receipts, and payment trails are being examined for inconsistencies. Several hospitality contracts, reportedly linked to Harry and Meghan's inner circle, are under the microscope. If even a fraction of those funds are shown to have been used improperly, the fallout could be monumental. Already, public sentiment is shifting. Once champions of modern royalty, Harry and Meghan are increasingly viewed with skepticism. Online, hashtags like minus Invictus Scandal and where did the money go have begun to trend. Prominent voices, including journalists, military veterans, and former charity board members, are calling for full transparency. Meanwhile, Meghan's recent podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, has drawn more mockery than praise. Critics like Jon Stewart and Brett Cooper have taken aim at its tone, its substance, and its timing, especially in light of the mounting controversy. The couple's reputation as thoughtful humanitarians is now under siege, and if you think this is just another fleeting tabloid firestorm, think again. The European Times reports that German prosecutors are monitoring the situation closely. If any public money is proven to have been misappropriated, formal charges could follow. That would mark the first time in modern history that a senior member of the British royal family faces legal scrutiny from a foreign government. Back in Britain, King Charles and the palace remain cautious, but resolute. Internal memos suggest an ongoing strategy to ring-fence the monarchy from further Sussex-related damage. That means no future funding, And as the audit continues, the media isn't the only force bearing down on the Sussexes. Donors are beginning to demand refunds. Veteran organizations are reconsidering partnerships. Some sponsors have already pulled out or paused support, pending the audit results. Even within the Invictus Foundation, cracks are forming. Staff morale is reportedly low, with some feeling they've been caught between royalty and responsibility. "We believed in this," one former coordinator said. "We thought we were building something sacred. Now, I'm not so sure." As if that weren't enough, financial experts are warning that even if criminal charges aren't filed, civil liability could haunt the couple for years. If the Archwell Foundation is found liable, it may be forced to pay restitution, face penalties, or lose its license in multiple jurisdictions. That kind of reputational damage is hard to repair, especially when your entire brand is built on trust. And here's the real irony. Prince Harry often spoke of stepping away from royal duties to do good in the world. But now, in his attempt to redefine that mission, he may have compromised the very values he claimed to champion. The Invictus Games was his chance to lead by example. Instead, it may become a cautionary tale of ambition gone unchecked. So where do we go from here? For now, the public watches and waits. The audit is ongoing. Legal filings are expected within months. The palace remains silent, Meghan and Harry remain evasive, and the veterans, the real heroes in this story, are left in the shadows once again. But the truth has a habit of surfacing, and this time, not even the world's most media-savvy couple may be able to spin their way out of it, because when the cause is this noble and the stakes are this high, there is no margin for betrayal. If this story shocked you, hit the like button and subscribe, because this is just the beginning. More revelations are coming, and the consequences could shake not only the Sussex brand, but the very meaning of charity in the modern royal world. Leave a comment below. Do you think Harry and Meghan should face legal consequences, or is this all just media hype? Let's talk about it.